So it's official. We are now in March. We're a few days in. Let's bring in our senior writer for BTN.com, Tom Dienhart, to give us his thoughts as we close out the regular season for the men and enter the Big Ten tournament. Tom, which teams do you have trending up as we enter the week coming up in Chicago?
I think a couple. The hottest teams probably are first Maryland with 7 wins in a row. Extremely talented offensive team. Des Wells, boy, he's really finishing the year with a flurry. And how about the Iowa Hawkeyes? After that 2-game blip where they lost to Minnesota and Northwestern, they've been on a tear here, winning, 5 games in a row. Aaron White is playing as well as anybody down the stretch, so I think the Terrapins Hawkeyes really will bring a lot of momentum to Chicago.
What a different end of the regular season for Iowa this year than last year, huh? What about the inverse of that? Give me the teams that are trending down right now.
You know, Indiana, unfortunately, you flash back to the beginning of the Big Ten season. They start 5-1. Hopes are high in Bloomington. Well, since that 5-1 start, the Hoosiers have gone 4-7. Injuries have been an issue, a lack of size, an over-reliance on the three-point shot. Again, and plus the defense has just been atrocious at times. So Indiana's sort of crossing the finish line on fumes a little bit, and it's been a tough go for Tom Crean's team down the stretch.
It's always interesting when you go to the Big Ten Coach of the Year, partly because, it's close in just about any conference. You could always throw out a few names, but especially in this one with the talent that the Big Ten has amongst head coaches. Where do you lean for this year's honor?
Some good candidates, but I go back to Bo Ryan, and a lot of times these awards don't go to the head coach of the team that's the preseason favorite. They think, well, he's got a great team. His team should do well with all that talent. But I tell you what, it's very difficult to perform at a high level when your expectations are big. And make no doubt about it, Wisconsin came into the season with a big X on its back. They were the hunted. They were supposed to excel, and the Badgers have excelled, win the title outright. And again, they've done it basically through the entire Big Ten season without their starting senior point guard and Trayvon Jackson. So you put those things together, delivering on huge expectations without your senior point guard, my vote goes for Bo Ryan.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with it. I'm just curious, is your number 2 Mark Turgeon, considering what happened last year, the players he lost, joining a new league, is he right behind Bo, or do you have somebody else?
I think he's probably right there. That was a team, if you flash back to the preseason publications, was supposed to be a bottom-half Big Ten team. And, of course, you talked about the attrition he had to deal with from the offseason. So, yeah, I think Turgeon's probably number 2. I tell you what, maybe you make a case for Matt Painter if they find a way maybe to beat Illinois this weekend, get into the big dance. Remember, they finished in last place last season. And also, flash back to December, Purdue looked like it was going nowhere when it lost at home to North Florida and then to Gardner-Webb.
It seems like the Badgers are the clear-cut, absolute, money-down, hands-on favorite to win this upcoming Big Ten tournament. But when you look at matchups and you look at what has to happen for them to lose this upcoming week in Chicago, which team has the best shot to take them down?
It really may be a team like Iowa, and I know Maryland's a little bit hotter. I just think Iowa's a team that has some size, with a guy like especially Woodbury inside. Even a guy like Aaron White, who's 6'8", 6'9". I think their size and length and depth would maybe be a better matchup for a team like Iowa, or for a team like Wisconsin coming to this Big Ten tournament, more so than Maryland. So keep your eye on Fran McCaffrey's team. I think, again, personnel-wise and with the way they're playing, they may be the biggest threat to Wisconsin and Chicago.
And after the Big Ten tournament, it is, of course, the NCAA tournament, the big dance, the bubble teams, right? It seems Illinois is just barely hanging on. Purdue is right behind them, and Indiana is doing everything they can to join that bubble discussion. What's your stance on those 3 teams?
Yeah, I tell you what, and this Saturday, buddy, a huge Saturday for all 3 of those teams. Must-win situations for Indiana. They're at home against Michigan State. Again, we talked about their struggles. Of course, that'd be a nice quality victory for the Hoosiers to get. Right now, Jerry Palm has them as a number 10 seed. I tell you what, though, Mike, even if Indiana loses to the Spartans, and even if Indiana loses the first game in Chicago, I think they're still going to find a way to get in just with a very bad seed. I think there's more urgency in West Lafayette on Saturday. Illinois at Purdue. Right now, Jerry Palm has Illinois in a playing game as an 11 seed. So they're the big bubble team. Purdue's right behind them, second on the bubble. Again, the winner there, I think, probably punches their ticket to the big dance. The loser is going to have some work to do in Chicago.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it not only seems like a win would massively help the winner, but that loser would almost need to make it to at least the semifinals, you would think, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the RPI numbers for both Illinois and Purdue aren't great. The overall resumes aren't tremendous, so you're right. A loss there, and like you said, in Chicago, the loser's going to have some work to do. That may include, like you said, upwards of a couple of victories.
He's the best. He's our senior writer of BTN.com. He's Tom Dienhart. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike.